Hey everyone, it's the Mentor.Social Podcast again, and we're happy to be here. I'm Scott Hoseman.
I'm Dashay Williams.
And today we thought we would talk a little bit about, why are we doing this? Where are we trying to go with it? What are we trying to get done? How can anyone help us? So, to start, I guess, for me, the why in this is that, this is what the world needs. It's like, if I'm going to live and make an impact on this earth before I go, I can't think of anything that would have a bigger impact than if I could connect every single person with someone else that could help them in a time of need. So I don't know. How about you, Shay?
Yeah, I'll say my why for this pretty much is based on my personal experience with actually receiving a mentor. I feel that I've gained a lot more success in life, just the different paths that I went down, just by having that person in my corner, talking to every day, giving me suggestions, going based off what they went through in life, Yeah. So my why is pretty much living through my experience of like the value which is needed to share to the young people, the youth.
Yeah, no, it's such a, I can't, when I think of life and I think of anything, any interaction, every problem I can think of goes back to education. It means one of the parties is lacking some of the education or the understanding of the other party. That if everyone had the same understanding, we'd probably likely all come to the same conclusion. So, everything's about information. How do we get people with more education and information to get that to people with less education and information? And that could fix everything.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, how do you spread that message? What's our goal? How do we get this across everyone? How do we make it a bigger platform? How do we stress the importance of mentorship? What are your ideas?
Yeah, so it's funny. I've thought for a long time. It's got to be 20 years. I had a thought that, a good idea to sort of, if you were going to impact the world, what's the most powerful thing? It's probably propaganda, changing people's minds.
Yeah.
You see that since the advent of the TV, newspapers, radio, but, so often it's used for negative purposes. What if you could take that and then use it for good? So I always thought, if you could take these powerful human drivers and use it for good, and that maybe there's some unused stock that wasn't being used as much, and you could get that and do sort of a reverse merger, and then have Love Incorporated and use even almost greed to rise the price of the stock, so that the company, all it does is make positive media that goes out to the world. And then people that want to say they own the most amount of stock of this company that does the good for the world. I always thought that would be great. So, realistically, that's something that would be much bigger picture, take a lot of work with people that I don't have. So what can we do now? I think that's what we're working on, is something, what does every young adult use now to get their information? It's social media. So if we could bring mentors to a social media platform, to me, that just seems like a no-brainer.
Our biggest question that, kind of what we get if we're talking to someone, what separates us from our competitors? Or not, I wouldn't even really call it competitors, but what makes our platform different than the others that's out there as a mentor and resources? What do you think?
Well, yeah, I don't look at any mentoring application or anybody doing anything as a competitor. It's basically a whole lot of people working together to make some good happen.
Right.
But one of the differences that I see is everybody is looking at it through, a little bit of an antiquated lens of getting, and it's a little more geared to working professionals that have money already. So most of them have, what I was looking at today, for $1,000, you can have a 15-minute conversation with a venture capitalist to learn. I just know at 16, I'm not going to pony up $1,000 to talk to someone.
Right.
Is their information valid and valuable? Would that make sense maybe as an adult now for me? Certainly. But what I would think is that we're trying to go after who needs this the most. Do I think it will be helpful for someone that's making $300,000 a year, $500,000, $1 million? Yes. But I don't think it's inclusive to that 15-year-old, 16-year-old that's working and making minimum wage. They need somewhere they can go for free or a small amount of money and reach high-level people.
Yeah, that's what we mean by, being accessible for all. I think that's our biggest goal, is to make sure that mentorship, when we say that line, I think we truly mean it. We want mentorship to be accessible for all. So we want these high-level people to be able to reach people who may not get that option, who may not have that money to buy that mentor's time for an hour. So that's our main goal for this app. We want to bridge together like that gap. We really would love to connect these different people with one another.
Yeah, and I think that's, it goes to, where do we want to go with it? A lot of great places. I mean, it's really, the goal is nothing short of making sure every person on earth has access to a mentor.
Yes.
I think that's big. I think there's a lot of areas in that, we've talked about that are very interesting, and that this is one way to transfer for older generations, the collective intelligence of older generations to younger generations. I think next level, we want to look to even see, what can we do to create financial, pass through so older generations can financially move assets just like small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
We have right now, it's a large number of small businesses go up for sale every year that go unpurchased, mostly because people don't know about that acquisition process and how they can access capital. I'd like to expose more of the pathways to do that for young individuals, so they don't see the only path is necessarily going to work for someone and working your way. They also can save money working, but then look to acquire a business, because we have, a lot of older people that are looking to age out of the businesses they're in.
Right. It's kind of I just thought of this question, kind of taking it back a little bit, but what if people ask, our younger generation, what is a mentor, first off? So that's a question, what is a mentor? And then going off of that, why do I need a mentor? Can you think about, put yourself in this high school's position, or per se young adult, what is a mentor? Why do I need a mentor? I'm sure that's a question that's probably going to get brought up. So what's your thought?
Yeah, and it's funny because it just came up, I was talking with our product manager, Greg, today about it, even with marketing, because we're saying, we're talking a lot about mentor, and I said, I'll bet you there's a lot of people that may not even understand what the word mentor is. That we might be going, we need to simplify that's, it's kind of simply, someone you can ask questions and get answers that has more information than you. I think, we talked a little bit last time about the difference in the way the perception of what a mentor is, and that, some older generation folks we talk to, they really see it as this one-on-one relationship that is very personal and long-standing. And younger folks, that's where there's a divide that we're trying to bring together, because it's not super realistic in today's society. So that's where we you're having a social mentor, someone that you might not need. It might not be the same mentor.
Yes.
Heck, we'd love to have tens of thousands of mentors, because life goes a lot of different directions. So one mentor isn't going to necessarily be able to give you the right information or the best information for every situation.
Yes.
So I think it's important, as we move forward in a more dynamic society, that people look to have sort of a social mentor where you might have a bunch of different people you ask questions, and they can give you good answers for that specific situation, especially when you're younger. How many people want to be a nurse one day, a doctor another, then they want to be a computer engineer. You're still figuring out what you want to do. You should be able to get the best information about the real life of those careers. So that's why I think it's really important to get the information that's digitally available on the internet, but you need humans that say, man, don't do that job. I've been doing it for 20 years. It's a grind. It's a bad quality of life. Or, yes, do that job. It's got a lot of perks. There's good quality of life. There's a lot of just human pieces of information that need to get transferred for a mentor. So, I mean, to your point, I mean, a mentor could be just someone you're looking to give guidance on a situation. It doesn't. So I think that's what is a mentor, and we're trying to shift that a bit.
For our app per se, how will we kind of break down like the trust? There's got to be like a trust factor, some validity to our mentors per se.
Yeah.
Like for someone, what should a person looking to have a mentor or find a mentor look for? Like how can I say, you know what, this person shows me that they have experience. How can I go and start saying I have no idea what I'm looking at?
Yep.
How would I know who to look for, or should I trust them, or is this a fake? How do you go about that?
Yeah. No, I think it's hard. There's no perfect answer. I think, you also have to weight how much diligence, like how much checking you do based on like the importance of the question you're asking. So if you're making a big life decision, you're going off of someone's answer. I'd go on LinkedIn and see, do they have a profile? Are they well connected in the industry that they're talking about? I might go on, on the web. I might go and, double check this information. Does this make sense, and does it correlate? Because I think with everything, and that's not even just in this mentor situation, it's going to be, if you go to an accountant, you go to a doctor, even when you see the expert, you should go and do your own research. But I think it's important that, does it make sense? Do they have sort of like social validation? Do you see that that there's a lot of folks that have responded to liking their post? That's going to say, okay, people found some insight in that. We if they're connected to a university or company, I know with our platform, people can have business pages, or universities can have a page, and you can see if the professor is connected to that university. I think, you start to see some credibility, and we double check the emails with that to make sure it's a university email and such. So, I think that helps a lot to create validity. But again, I think like everything, double check.
Literally, like when you were saying that before you even said it, the first thing that popped in my mind was the word research. Do your research. I think that's the biggest thing with everything in life. Just like you said, you want to look up just to see who you're going to, who you're talking to. Like, does it follow up? Does it add up? Their credentials? Like, that's going to be a huge importance of, like, how you even want to trust or engage with someone. Like, if you're really, truly looking to be a doctor, become a surgeon, and you find someone, I don't see too many things about it. I don't see university. I don't see where they attended. And then you find someone else. LinkedIn. They went here, Harvard, Stanford, someone like that. Now it adds a little bit of, like a stamp of approval. Like, okay, now I feel a little bit more comfortable that this person went to this university, or they have a credential to show and back up what I'm interested in doing. So research will be key for anyone that you're looking forward to speaking with.
Yeah, because I think, that's, we'd be the last people to say, hey, when you ask a question here and someone gives you an answer, don't do any more research. We're saying that's why I like that multiple people can give answers. So you're going to get a quick answer that of all the information from the internet, it gets put together so you get something quick. So, okay, I can get my brain right. And then, you might see 1, 2, 3, 4 answers from people in that career giving you those insights. You start to see for yourself, if you see some similar information between folks, that's the thing. Don't base it off of one. And I think that's the danger with sort of that old school mentality of like a mentorship. I think it's valuable. But you know what? No one person holds all the information. So the thing is, you need, you might get, you're interested in become an actuarial scientist where you do statistics for insurance companies and such. And you're asking, someone's been leading you through that. You go through, you get your degree, you get a job, and then you're asking them about, life advice about, whether you should marry this person or not. Well, you don't know. They might have been a great actuary, but they've been divorced 3 times, and maybe the only good advice they're going to give you is like how to get divorced. Right. So I think you got to be really particular about who you're going to ask for your answers. And that's where I think, we need something like this so you can ask multiple people.
Yeah, totally. I agree with that.
Yeah. So I think, one important thing is even how other people can help us. What are some things that you think of that, because we're certainly looking, this isn't, a couple person show. Like, we need help, and our main goal is nothing short of, we want to find a way to make a mentor available for every single person in the world. So we're just trying to send out our vibes so we can find our tribe of people that it makes it important. Because I think, one thing that came back with some emails, some people, hey, I'd like to be a mentor. What's in it for me? And I'll tell you, like, it's like my initial reaction is like, oh man, you are not, we're sending out a vibe and that's not it.
Right.
And it's funny that to get it, because I'm like, I think it's clear that that's not our vibe. But, this isn't so you can charge some kid like his life savings to talk for an hour and give him something he could have Googled. That's what we don't want.
Right.
So I think it's important, like, we get out, like, what are some of the things you can think of that people would be helpful for you?
Well, Jim, just the first thing in mind is really spreading the word. Yeah. So I think when a person spreads the word, they genuinely care about the topic of conversation at hand. Like, if you would like to share on your social media profile, looking into that, our biggest thing is really, are you interested in, like, learning more? Are you interested in pushing your career forward? Are you interested in sharing your knowledge with someone else? Like, if you truly, that's what you're saying, like, our tribe, our vibe sort of things. Like, if you passionately feel good about, are you ready to learn, or are you willing to share your knowledge that you want to give back to the world? That's mainly, like, the best thing that I can ask for from anyone or anything. Just truly be passionate about mentoring. That's what we're looking for. Really strong-minded people who love this topic or love just success mindset and just willing to push forward your life and want to do better in life. So feel free to reach out to us.